Thank you all for coming today. I appreciate you coming to listen to us talk about an important issue. As everyone in this room knows, the state is in a troubling spot when it comes to the budget. We have to pass a continuing resolution today to continue operations for 7 more days, and we will have another 7-day piece of legislation that was also introduced today as well. So it is not a good time. And it appears that we have a gridlock situation that's developed, but we're trying to distinguish between two very similar machines. One is an instant racing terminal, and the other is a video lottery terminal. And to look at these, they seem very similar and they act very similar. And we have come to this position where we cannot pass a state budget, and we're continuing doing these temporary versions of the budget because of the distinction that is a little troubling to the folks here in this room. We're concerned about the thought or the feeling that there's a double standard that's out there right now. In the Senate previously, in the last General Assembly, Senate Bill 125, there was support for expanding gambling at the racetracks that included the instant racing terminal. And now, with the governor's request to expand gambling to include video lottery terminals, they don't seem to be willing to support that. So we see that as a double standard. We also see the idea of the Senate being willing to accept the revenue from a video lottery terminal without voting on that as also a second double standard that is concerning to us. It appears that the budget is being held up over a minor distinction between these two expansions of gambling. No question about it. They're both ways to expand gambling in the state of Ohio, and there is this problem that has developed over the budget. We are doing $2.3 billion in cuts. We're wanting to raise $933 million through expanding gambling with VLTs. We are asking the Senate leadership to show us their plan on how we're going to fix that budget hole, or allow their members to vote on a plan that would include VLTs and the $933 million. I believe the other folks here also have a few things to say, but in general, that's the point is these are very similar machines. They do the same things. One's been approved previously by the Senate leadership, but for whatever reason, this one's not been approved now, and we think that needs to happen so we can get off the dime when it comes to the budget and get the state moving in the right direction and get a 2-year budget in place.
I'm State Representative Stewart here in the 25th House District, which is part of Franklin County, which does include Scioto Downs, and I'm near Beulah Park, so 2 of those 7 racetracks. So I look at it as also an issue of jobs and not only the revenue it brings in, but the additional jobs and income that is brought to Ohio with this expansion at the 7 racetracks, which we have had dealing with those 7 racetracks since 1932, I believe. So we've had that, and people forget, I think, the other side of the equation. In addition to the dollars that the state receives in this very desperate time for helping fix the budget, there are also dollars that for many, many years Passport has received, so you have opportunity to raise those dollars. You raise the purses in the local county fairs and their racing, which is really the minor league, and has been for decades in Ohio, where horses come to start their racing careers and go on to places like Beulah and Scioto Downs. So there's that additional dollars for the local economy in those county fairs, in the farms that raise the feed for those horses. So those dollars are often forgot about in this process. So it's not only let's just round up, where we're going to get the extra $1 billion if we don't do this. It's about those jobs that we're going to miss and those extra dollars for the local economy and for things like Passport that allow seniors to stay in their home. And I don't think we can get to this without having this expansion and these additional dollars, both for the local economy and for the state revenue. We can't get into the situation, I believe, where we're sort of playing this high-stake Machiavellian game of chicken while the state, just sort of hangs in the wind. We need to take some leadership, allow this vote to happen, allow the legislature to make a vote on this, and just the distinction between what they have voted on before on the instant racing machines versus the video lottery terminal seems insignificant to me. The more significant are the dollars that we need for the state's economy and the state's budget. So I'm hoping that we can reach a compromise and allow a vote, so this can be part of it. Otherwise, go back to work and try to find how you're going to cut additional dollars for mental health, where you're going to cut additional dollars from library, where you're going to cut additional dollars for child and senior protective services, and where you're going to lay off additional state employees. Show us where you're going to do that, and see if that makes sense to the general public.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm State Representative Sen Yuko from the House District number 7 on the shores of Lake Erie, and not too far away from some great racetracks we've had in the Cleveland area. Yet I find myself compelled to get in my car and travel east. And where do I get off? At Presque Isle, where there's a racetrack and a casino, and a whole lot of Ohio license plates. If I get a little extra time on my hand, I can take a ride down to Mountaineer in West Virginia from Cleveland, Ohio. Not that much farther. And again, I'm not homesick at all because of all the Ohio license plates in the parking lot. I stand here today with a belt buckle on that shows you a full house. And it's not, I didn't wear it today for today's press conference. I wear this belt every day. I love this belt, okay? I carry it in my pocket for good luck. I carry my different tokens from different casinos. It's good, it's fun, it's American. Well, what's at stake here today? We have a bet. Talk about gambling, we're ready to risk placing the biggest bet of Ohio's life, I think, because we're willing to sit down and bet $1 billion. Because if we don't support the racetracks, if we don't support our budget, if we don't support our libraries, our senior citizens, our kids, our food banks, and that's what we're risking here by not putting the necessary dollars in this budget. And this is a very reasonable, makes sense answer. But we have $1 billion wager, folks, on whether or not we support the racetracks, our friends who support us, racetracks who provide either jobs or economic development opportunity for virtually every county in the state of Ohio. I don't have racetracks in my exact district, but I have employees who work out there, getting union jobs, getting union wages, union benefits, and they're very proud to call themselves employees of this racetrack. We provide, through our racetrack friends, tremendous donations to our hospitals and our higher education, as evidenced by the NEO natal unit at University Hospital a few months ago. These are good people who deserve our interest in securing their future in Ohio, securing our future in providing a strong budget that addresses the needs of Ohio's needed citizens. And I strongly urge our friends in the Senate to reconsider their position and give us a choice.